Good afternoon, gentlemen. Get this thing propped up so it works properly. Good stuff. Appreciate you guys being on. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm going to share my screen really quick so you guys can see the agenda, see what we have going on, and then from there, we will get this thing kicked off. So what we'll cover today, I think most of you guys probably have a very good understanding of the CRM. So we don't need, this isn't to be redundant. If you guys understand that, then we don't need to cover it. There is a new lead type that I'll cover here just a few minutes when I get to the bottom of this deal. We'll go from there. Slack. Most of you guys probably have a pretty good understanding of Slack. I know some of you guys are building organizations, building teams, etc. So we'll go into that very quickly. You guys also probably have a pretty decent understanding of the website. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into it, especially with the grids, to make sure you guys understand that. We'll cover commission because I had 3 commission questions already this week. Somebody was paid something and thought they should have been paid more. I had a couple of those, but I want to make sure you guys understand where to find that information, etc., so that you're equipped, and especially those of you guys that are starting to build teams, etc. We'll cover work spots briefly, and then the Velocity in-home helpline, show you guys where that's at, not just to pick up the phone and call, but you also have access to it in Slack. So if there's anything as we're going, after we get through the first portion of this here, just to make sure you guys are equipped to know what's going on. If there's anything that you guys want to see that I can help, if I don't have the answer, I will find it and get back to you or get back with the entire group. But as I said, we're here as a resource, not to babysit, but we're here as a resource. We want to make sure you guys understand everything that's available to you and everything we can do to help you. So some of you guys got most of your carriers, or you're still going through this process. We have a meeting on Wednesdays, which I'm going to cover here in a second. But make sure as you're getting your agent codes in, most of the time the carriers email me when your agent codes or your agent's agent codes are ready. I usually email the agent and you and letting you know that, hey, you just got a new carrier. Please make sure you get those entered into the system. Would imagine some point here in the very near future that if you and your agents are not in 8CMS, you're not going to get paid. There's no way to connect you and your business partner together. That's the first thing. In reference to the meetings, I get this question all the time, every day. I try not to blow up the system here with Slack, but I get people asking me all the time when the meetings are. Typically on Sundays, we'll put this out there, which has all of the meetings, which is the same meetings every single week. And then there's a reminder about 15, 20 minutes before on the day of the meeting, just to make sure. But you can put these pretty much on your calendar. These meetings are going to happen. We started running these probably 10, 11 months ago, and they haven't changed other than a few minor things. So dial days are on Mondays and Thursdays, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. There's usually somebody on there all day. They usually have them scheduled out. Sometimes life happens, but you're listening to people that are doing 20,000 or more per month. They're getting on. You can listen to that. They'll tell you what they're dialing on. You can hear the live dials. You can hear the person on the other end of the phone. So if you're struggling with the phone or maybe not sure what to say in certain situations, I can tell you it is a huge help to be on there. Now, Velocity, the team that we're a part of, one of the biggest teams in the country, doing about $4 million a month. It's pretty crazy because there's 7,500 people that are in the Velocity Slack line, and there's usually 70 or 80 people on there. And then there's people that say they're struggling with the phone and this, that, and the other. So all we can do is provide the resources out there to try to help. It's up to us to get out there and try to take advantage of them. Those are on Mondays and Thursdays. On Wednesday, obviously today, we had our recruiting onboarding meeting. So if you're in the process of either going through the licensing process or you have a teammate, I highly recommend this meeting because we're going over step by step everything that they'll go through and that you're going through the licensing, contracting process. All of you guys on here are contracted, so it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to try to get it done. But if people would just follow the steps and follow the information we email it to them, it makes it so much easier. People try to skip through it. That's on Wednesdays, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And then, of course, the meeting that you guys are on right now, our Fast Start training. So sometimes people need reminders or, maybe updates on stuff, or they're not sure how to maneuver around an application, those kind of things. That's what this is for. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. We were doing this on Saturday with somewhat limited, people attending. Like there's only 2 of you guys on here right now. We'll continue to do these. If there's one person on, the show will be the same. Nobody shows up, that's okay. But we want to make sure that if you're here, that we provide you every opportunity to be successful. That's why we do these. Of course, Thursday is as I mentioned, the Velocity Team Zoom. If you're missing this, you're missing probably one of the best meetings in the country, in my opinion. You'll have people. Last week, Jake Conan was on. Jake Conan has written $1 million on his own pen. Not even what his team's doing. He wrote over $1 million on his own pen last year, and he's already exceeded it this year. He was on there. So there's top performers across the country from different, fascias of FFL that are on there telling you what they're doing, what lead types they're doing, how they're having success, lead vendors, just all kinds of things. So they're very good calls to be on. You can hop on, hop off as you need be, but 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern. And of course, Friday, our team call Friday, we usually have a representative from, another one of the companies or vendors that we use. Those are very, very well done. We have some of our own leadership that gets on and does training. Tim's doing a scheduling of success training, which Paul McLean, second or third in command here at FFL, did a video about here recently. So Tim's going to be training on that tomorrow, alongside all of our, recognition and everything else that we do throughout the week. Now, I will tell you this, so you guys can save this. All of our meetings, Friday, Wednesday, the 2 meetings on Wednesday today, all of our meetings we use the exact same Zoom link. So you can schedule this in, put it on your phone, calendar, whatever the case is. This will always be the same login information. We have it set up also, so you should just be able to, it should be a live link. You can just click on it. If you have to put the code in 082450, all of our meetings will have that. So you don't have to be trying to dig around for the code. You can save it in. We did that for a multitude of different reasons. All right, any questions about that, guys, as I move through? Perfect. All right, so just want to make sure you guys, again, are educated on what's going on. These are the levels, if you will, with FFL. So $10,000 or more is a bronze level producer, 15 is a silver, 20,000 is gold. These are monthly, also can be done weekly as well, or even in a day. People have done it before. And all the way up to, just from a recognition standpoint, it's good to be able to have those, those type of things, especially if you're recruiting or just recognition for, job well done. Americo is the first vendor that was ever partnered with Sean Mike back in 2013. And was the only carrier that we had at that particular time. So they have a bonus program that's been put in place for us. It's going to pay out for those people that actually hit or exceeded it. It's going to pay out, I believe, the 15th of this month. They do this twice a year. So a credit, if you will, is $1. So 45,000 written in a 6 month period of time means you get an 8% bonus on everything that you've written. And then you can also see on there, it says earn an extra 25% credit for the following sales: CBO 50, which is obviously the return of premium, continuation, payment protector, which Mark Williams writes a ton of, and then payment protector continuation. So anyway, you guys can see these requirements. This also is posted on Slack on a weekly basis, so you can see it, but just want to let you guys know it's an additional 8% just for doing your job. February 2nd through the 5th is the annual convention. I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Wonderful is from Shark Tank. He's going to be one of the keynote speakers there. There's already 10,000 people that have already signed up. There's people that don't even work or partner with FFL that have signed up already. So if you haven't, go ahead and do that. I'm telling you, it'll be worth your time. I've been to three conventions now, and the annual one, I'm sure it's going to be pretty awesome. I was blessed with good fortune to be able to speak last year because of the great start that we had at the Kansas City convention. So pretty cool stuff. You don't want to miss it. Free to go. Just get yourself, or free to actually attend. Just got to get yourself there. And right now, what we're working on, myself and leadership, is potentially doing an Airbnb in Miami or someplace, around Miami to keep the cost down. Everybody splits the cost, and we can all go and have a good time, get to connect with each other, etc. So to register for that, fflconvention.com. Again, it's where the Florida Marlins play at Lone Depot Park. If you're not, before we swing into the full portion of the training, if you're not familiar with WorkSpots, it's $99 a month. It allows you access into any any office in the country. Every office in the country that's a WorkSpots office, you can go to. So if you're from St. Louis and you're going to Atlanta to see family, and you're going to be working out there for a few days, and you need a place to dial or get away or whatever the case is, you can actually go and go there, go to their trainings, anything like that at all. It also has discounts with Home Depot, Best Buy, Adidas, and it's just, the list just continues to grow. It allows you to print. Some of the places have faxing, refreshments, water, coffee, tea, high-speed internet, all those kind of things. are included in that membership, alongside the discounts that you guys see that come out on Slack. Simply go to www.workspots.org and sign up. Please use St. Louis as your location as we continue to try to build our office, etc. Last two things for announcements. We have a meeting coming up the 14th and 15th here at the St. Louis office, next level training, where we'll train everything from buying a lead all the way through making the sale, all the way through sending postcards or regular cards, excuse me, thank you cards, all that kind of stuff. We train everything from top to bottom. It's a day and a half training. Get yourself here. We'll even feed you dinner the first night and all that kind of stuff. But today is the last day to sign up for that. So 5, 6 o'clock Central Time today is the last day that you can sign up for that. Please RSVP if you plan on coming, because we have to have we have binders that we're putting together, and we need to make sure that we have enough binders for people. There is a cost for that, and we want to make sure everybody is equipped when they're there. The last thing from an announcement standpoint is the company just put out YouTube leads. What people do is they actually go on YouTube, they look up any life insurance information, they'll play the video. Once they watch the entire video, there's a call to action button. They click on that button and then they fill out the information, and it hits whatever part of the country that you're in. So pretty cool leads. I know I had an appointment set up. The appointment didn't stick, but I did set an appointment with one of those YouTube leads just the other day. So any questions as we recap this before we dive into the training? All right, perfect. So I'm going to swing to Slack here for just a second. And I'm going to go to, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen on Slack, there's what's called these are basically called threads or windows or whatever you want to call it. So the in-home help. So some of you guys, I'm sure, have used this before. If you haven't, if for some strange reason you don't want to pick up the phone and call in, you can actually put it out here. So we'll just look at the one on the bottom here. This is Susie Q. Susie has a huge organization, but she asked a question: does anyone know of the insurance carrier covering 87-year-olds for 100K? So I'm not sure who that is. Might be Forrester's. Aetna goes up to 89, but they can't get that much coverage. So in retrospect, what happens is people put questions out here, and then people will come in here and answer them. So let's go up above, right above today, Demetrius Smith. Mutual is making me do a wet signature on an IUL. They have never asked me to do this before. My client wants 290K, covers 27 years old. Is this why? Something I think Mood doesn't like me. That's funny. But anyway, 7 people responded, right? So again, you got a multitude of different answers. I'm sure Moo is not personally picking on this person. They're too big for that. But you can see all the answers and that kind of stuff that's out here. So if it's after hours, those of you guys that work directly with me, and maybe I don't answer the phone or whatever the case is, or you don't want to talk to me, or you just rather get the answer from someplace else, this is another resource for you to go to. Now, also, if you look on the screen here, right at the top of the screen, we have the Velocity in-home helpline. So when you're in the home, if you have a question, once you've completed, which I'm going to show you guys here in just a second, once you've completed the in-home form, so you know their age, you know their date of birth, you know what their medical conditions are, how much coverage you're looking for, are they renting, is it mortgage, that kind of stuff. You can then pick up the phone. If you work directly with me, call your leadership person, or you can call the Velocity in-home helpline. So that number, as you can see on the screen, 800-304-6235. I highly recommend you save that to your phone. Everybody thinks it's pretty simple to remember, and then they get in a situation in the home and they forget the number. 800-304-6235. Now, if you work directly with me or one of our leadership people and you call and they don't answer, your next line of defense should be the Velocity in-home helpline with the number I just gave you. You should also take down these two gentlemen's name. And I'm going to highly recommend that you save their number in your phone today, and that you text them and let you know that you work with Genesis. And what happens is, after you call the in-home helpline, for some strange reason you don't get anybody and you can't get me, you can call Todd Hausberger. Todd's with FFL Phoenix, which is a team that we're connected to. Text Todd today, let him know you know with Genesis, because what happens is, if you call him, he knows that you've already tried to call me or your business partner. He also knows that you've already tried to call the Velocity in-home helpline, and for some strange reason, you weren't able to get connected with anybody. But he only knows that if you text him and let him know who you are. I'm being deliberate about this because most people don't. and then they say they don't know where to call. Todd's number's on the screen, 602-692-3903. 602-692-3903. If you don't get a hold of me, nobody answers on the Velocity and Home Helpline, Todd Hausberger doesn't answer, you can then call Chris Schiavo. Now, by the time you go through all this, somebody's going to have called you back. I can almost guarantee that. So you're not going to be in a situation where you can't get any help. Chris Schiavo's number, 979-204-0995. Chris is the team ahead of Todd Hausberger, which we're a part of. And then we're, of course, connected to Todd. His name of his team is Ignite. Ignite does about $550,000 a month. So very big, very fast moving organization. Any questions there? All right, let's swing back to Slack here really quickly. Does anybody have any questions on Slack about how to use Slack, how to maybe add someone to Slack, how to talk to more than one person on Slack, anything like that at all? All right, you guys have a full understanding of the CRM, or would you guys like to go through that? Okay, I'll take the silence as you guys don't want to go through that. Website. So our resource website, FFL Genesis. If you look at the top portion of the page there, you can see we have our social media pages. So the first one on the far right-hand side is YouTube. If you click on that, it's going to take you out to our YouTube page. And we literally have some type of training, something like that, that comes out every single day. So if you're looking for, training on the CRM, simply come out here, hit the hourglass, type in FFL Genesis CRM, it's going to pop up. If you're looking for training on the IUL, same thing. If you're looking for training on Aetna, same thing, compensation. And we just continue to put more trainings, those kind of things. What we're getting ready to start doing also is doing like an insurance minute. So, just kind of a key tip that you can use in the home or use virtually that you can watch a minute or two and add to your arsenal of what you're doing. We just recently, you can see it was posted a day ago, the third video there, just putting out, doing a quick FFL overview and also putting like our team numbers and those kind of things out there. We try to stay away from using people's first name, last name for a multitude of different reasons, but that training and that information is out there. And you can see as of this week, that's one of the ones that's got the most views. So we try to look at the content, see what people are looking for, those kind of things, because it just helps with recruiting and helps you guys. Maybe if it's late at night, you got insomnia and you're looking for, help on some things as well. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. This gets pretty boring just going through this stuff like this, but if you guys got it, you got it. Makes my job a lot easier. So let me go back to the resource site. Now, on a normal website, they have what's called a hamburger button. It's usually the 3 lines. You click on it, it gives you the different things, that you can click on. We didn't do that for a reason, because our hope is, because this site was created for the agents by the agents, our hope is that you'll scroll through this and actually stop and watch one of the trainings, or scroll through and actually look at some of the content that's on here. In reference to your in-home presentation, on the right-hand side, that's Jordan Lowry, runs a massive $1 million a month agency here. And I think Jordan's been here just a few years. That's a great one to watch. It's just 9 minutes long. A lot of my in-home presentation was stolen from Jordan, who I'm sure stole it from somebody else. But all the other content and stuff that's out here, compensation, etc. Now, if you're here and you're looking to add another license, non-resident license, we've added this to the site recently. So state licensing requirements. If I click on that, this is literally going to give you all 50 states, as you can see here. And if you wanted to click on that, how do I get my license in that state? All you do is click it and it tells you exactly what to do. Some states require fingerprinting, some don't, etc. That's a resource you have. The boot camp. If you're here and you haven't gone through the boot camp, I don't know why you wouldn't, but it's going to provide you if you have, it's going to provide you with a platform that's going to move you 50% further just because of the information that's on the boot camp. Also, if you've sold $20,000 in a month, or you have a team that's doing $150,000 or more in a month, you're allowed to have access to the 20K boot camp. It is very good. It basically takes the new agent boot camp to the next level, more from a business owner standpoint, or giving you some tips to take yourself from $20,000 a month to 40, 50, 60,000 a month. As you guys know, there's a lot of people here that do that. Just another resource. If you're wanting to build a team, the IMO recruiting link, if you click on that IMO recruiting link, you put your first name, last name, email, phone number in. And what it does is it creates a link for you to be able to have people come out and watch the Rogue IMO video. They come out here, they click instant access, first name, last name, state, email, phone. When they click on that, it actually sends an email to you, letting you know that they've actually started watching the video. Give them about 20 minutes or so. The video is about 17 minutes. After they watch that, you can reach out to them and try to set up an interview. Any of you guys that are on here that are wanting to build teams, I will help you. A couple of you guys have done interviews for you. As long as you're present on the interview, I will help you do the interview, because after a while, you won't need me to do that. You can see my name is branded at the top. And once they start watching the video, it literally gives my email, first name, last name, and phone number. So they can call you right after the video as well. By the way, all this is free of charge. Just want to let you guys know that. Any questions as we get ready to wrap this portion up? All right, quoting tools. So what we've done here, FFL-Go, thank you, Andrew Taylor, has created this site, or an app, if you will. It works on any Android or Apple or iOS device. When you first come out here, if you're not familiar with FFL-Go, it's going to give you the information, the legend on the left-hand side. Your screen will be blank. But if you click on carrier quotes and info, this is what you'll see. Now, when I click on that, you can see all the carriers that come up. This is probably going to be 50, 60% of the carriers you're going to use on a normal basis. Once you've got your agent codes and all that kind of stuff, you can simply come out here, click view under the eApp. If I click the Americo eApp section, it's going to take me to the Americo application. If I click AIG and come out here and click view and click eApp, it's going to take me to the AIG application. So instead of having to have a bunch of different windows that are opened up all over God's creation, we've created one central point where most of the carriers that you're going to use. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple really quick pro tips. The first one is AIG. Do not use the AIG. Please do not use the AIG quotes here. I'm going to click on it and show you why. So if I click on that where it says quotes, I'm going to click on view quote. What's going to come up is a paper grid. Please don't use this. I'm begging you guys, don't use this. It hasn't been updated since 9/14 of 2018. So the rates are obviously lower because this has been several years ago. So please don't use this. When you're working with AIG or you're needing to pull AIG quotes, you're simply going to go to FFL-Go, AIG, eApp, click on the eApp, and then it's going to take you into their application. Now, if you have not written AIG before, the first time you come out here, you're going to have to click on agent registration. And when you do that, you're going to put your information in. Now, here's another pro tip. Hopefully you guys are taking notes with this. When you get your agent codes from AIG, there's going to be one that's a recruiting code, and there's another one that they're going to say is the agent code. I know this sounds completely silly, because it is, but your recruiting code is the code that you're going to use when you're logging in. Now, I'm telling you, I'm going to save you probably 30, 45 minutes of your life by doing that. But the first time you come out here, you have to register. The code that you're going to use is the recruiting code. I don't know why they do that. They just do. But that's what we put these meetings on, to help you guys not have to have the headaches that Tim Bilo and I had when we first came on. All right. Any questions? Awesome. You guys are sharp. So another quick pro tip here. If I click on AMAM, American Amicable, and I click contacts down at the bottom, there's all the customer service numbers. You're going to save yourself. If you have to call AMAM, don't Google the number, because you're probably going to be able to get through faster here, right? Let me give you an example. Let's go John Hancock. If I click on John Hancock, there's an exclusive number for us. So you don't have to call the street number that everybody else would call, because we are so big and we're the largest IMO in the country by more than 6 times our competitor. Some of these carriers allow us, they provide us different phone numbers, different access points, different ways to get into applications faster, etc. So the same thing here. If I click on Mutual of Omaha, sometimes it does delays for a second before it comes up. But while that's doing its thing, you can see there's the contact numbers, there's the support numbers and everything else. If I want to get into the Mutual of Omaha application, I'm simply going to click eApp, and it's going to take me into the area to log into the application. Pretty simple stuff. All right, and there's their quoting tool. The last tip that I'm going to give you, or 2 more tips that I'm going to give you here. With Americo, when you click Americo, it's going to give you the quoting tool here. This looks exactly like quote.americo.com. You do not want to use this on FFL Go, because it's going to give you inaccurate rates. Okay, it's going to give you inaccurate rates. So if you use this, It's going to give you the wrong rate. You're going to get into the application and it's going to ask you to verify the rate, and the rate's going to be wrong. Trust me, I've done it. That's how I figured out that this is not accurate. Okay, I'm going to show you guys where to go here in just a second. So the other thing, training podcast, I mean, you guys know if you get on FFL on Facebook or YouTube, I mean, you'll get worn out with the trainings and stuff that are on there. But this is just a ton of stuff that's out here for you to have access to. Training videos, phone scripts. On the right-hand side here where it says the scripts, if you click on that, look at all the scripts that you have. So you're never short of that. Even there's hiring scripts out here and all kinds of other stuff. Lead vendors, hiring templates. So if you don't know what to say, you can copy, paste, doctor these up however you want. And if you want to be a part of Andrew and FFL USA's list, if you will, you can simply put your information in there and they'll keep you abreast of what's going on with FFL USA, which is going to do a gazillion dollars this year. All right, so let's go back to the quoting section, Genesis quoting section. Remember I said, don't use the FFL Go, don't use a quoting tool on there. Here's what you want to use. Center of the screen, left-hand side, Americo quotes. When you click on that, you're going to see it's going to look exactly the same like that screen that we were just on. But this is where you're going to want to go to get your Americo quotes. Do not use the link on FFL-Go.
Can they not update that?
You know, I think Andrew and their guys are the ones that put that out there. I guarantee you somebody's asked them to update it and they just haven't.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why we're doing this. Guys, you know, understand where to go. Because I'm telling you, if people don't know that, they're going to go out there, they're going to pull that rate up and it's going to be wrong. So I wish they would, but this isn't something that's proprietary that you absolutely have to use. So, I mean, you would think it's just via changing the link, but you know, what do I know? So some of the other carriers that we have out there that might not be a part of FFL Go, we've put them out there. Prosperity's not on there. Great Western's not on there. Aetna CVS is not on there. So we try to 85–90% of the carriers you guys are going to use on a daily basis, they're right here. So we created this so you have one central point of contact, so you don't have to go out and create all these separate windows and try to remember where they're at. All right. Insurance Toolkit, I do not use it. I have in the past. I used it for about a week and realized that I could use the grids and be just fine. If I was confused, maybe on a medication, I could pick up the phone and call the FFL Velocity line. But it only took me a couple of weeks before. Just use the grids, which I'll show you guys here in a second. If you use the grids, I'd say 7.5, 8 out of 10, you're going to be just fine. Matter of fact, I just had somebody call me right before this call with some conditions that somebody had. I walked them through the grids and they were like, okay, got it. I've used stuff like this before in the past. So they just didn't know what was available to them. In reference to compensation, I'm going to show you guys a grid here in just a second. But our compensation grids out there, you guys know we don't hide that stuff at all. If you're somebody that wants to, because winter's coming, if you're somebody that wants to start selling virtually, we've got the whole virtual website out there. I'll let you guys venture through that. The in-home credibility form. So here, this is the form that we use. If you want to create something else, I don't know why you would. Some people do that. You can do that, but this just keeps it very simple, very succinct, especially if you're somebody that's going to recruit. You should follow a system or a process is going to help you when you're training and developing. This is the form that most of us use when we're in the home. So simply ask these questions. And I will tell you guys, anybody that's calling me for the most part, if it's an agent and they're calling me and they haven't completed this form, I'm not answering their questions because it's just guessing. They're guessing at that point. I'm not going to sit on the phone with them for 30, 45 minutes because they don't want to follow the process. I don't mean to be mean, but my time is valuable just like theirs is, and yours for that matter. So this is the form we use. It's very simple. And it's going to give you 90–95% of all the information that you're going to need, you know, when you're asking that person a question to figure out which carrier to put them with. Pretty simple stuff. And we train on this as well. This is that same video that I was mentioning before with Jordan Lowry. That's on our website as well. It's what he covers. All right. I'm going to do this so I don't have too many more windows open. Client refusal. So somebody just says, you know, that they don't want the coverage. Some people use these, some people don't. We just want to make sure you guys have access to that client refusal form. We got some other things that we're working on to put out here as well. So let's see. So before I cover the grids, very quickly, onboarding training. So if you're needing, you know, how do I put something in HCMS, or one of my new agents, how do I put them in HCMS? Some of these videos, you guys are a minute and a half, 45 seconds. So we just provided that out there so that you guys have access to those things. If it's after hours, you have questions. Product training guides. Again, this stuff's out there for your leisure. We even created a cheat sheet. So, you know, if you know, the primary products they have with Americo, these are out here, American Amicable, you know, et cetera. We tried to create this to keep things simple for you. Okay. Stuff that you're going to use on a pretty normal basis. The carrier information, their booklets, their guides, there's Americo Whole Life. If you click on this, this is going to take you through their Eagle Premier series, their guaranteed issue, you know, et cetera. Has all the information out there. So again, we don't have everything out there, but the stuff that people use on a more continuous basis, we've tried to put out there to help you alongside websites and everything else. Business cards and apparel. They're supposed to be updating the website here this month. I don't think it's been updated yet, but if you go to Family First Life Apparel, top center of the screen, you click on that. It's going to pull up, let's see, yep, they haven't updated it yet. It's going to pull up the information here. So if you see business cards, you click on that. You have 7 different options for business cards. The business cards come in pretty quickly. You have them, you put your picture on, etc. I know some people like doing that, which does make sense. Name tags, apparel. Matter of fact, the sweatshirt I'm wearing right now is an FFL sweatshirt. So I think I'm wearing one today. But anyway, there's just all kinds of, hats, polos, t-shirts, pullovers, backpacks, just all kinds of stuff. Whatever you want to buy, it's out here. Business supplies. The door knockers, I hang these things up. I actually use the one above. I had a custom one made with my name on it, so I don't have to write my name on them all the time. But these things work great. Tablecloths, just anything that you can think of to help you promote your business, it's out here. Banners, which we're getting ready to invest in a couple more of these for the office and podcasts and all those kind of things as well. So just want you guys to know where this stuff is, what you have access to, etc. Now this is actually new down here. Choose your agency. That's kind of weird, but they don't have everybody out here, but the bigger ones. So that's that. All right, E&O. If you need E&O, it's here. Air and emissions. This is one of the more cost-effective ones that I've seen. Pretty simple stuff. Goes all the way up to $2 million if that's what you want. Phone scripts, those kind of things. If you need to log into NIPR to get a license or renew your license, etc. The Todd file, Todd Hausberger has stuff that he's just been accumulating over the years. It's I think it's a Google Drive and it has a ton of stuff in it. I mentioned WorkSpots. So if you can't remember the WorkSpots application or where to go, we've got it on here as well. Of course, our podcast, which I need to update, and then some of the lead vendors that we have that we've used and some great resource websites. So any questions there before I cover grids and then compensation and anything else you guys would like to see? Perfect. Okay, so the term and the whole life, the final expense grids pretty much work the same. Okay, the carriers will underwrite different conditions differently based off of how old the people are. So between the ages of 50 and 55, let's say between 55 and 60 and under, you're probably going to be, you can look at term and whole life, 50 to 60. Anything under 55 and under, you're probably going to be, I said that backwards, I'm sorry. 50 and up, you have the option to really do term or whole life. 60 and up, you're probably going to be doing final expense whole life. And then anything 50, 55 and under, you're probably going to be looking at term. That's a good rule of thumb. So let's just start with the term guide. I'm going to click on the term grid. And you can see the primary carriers that we use on a daily basis are going to be out here. So AIDS, HIV, AIDS-related complex. That's the first illness section that's there. Carriers across the top, conditions on the left. So Americo says if somebody has AIDS, HIV, or AIDS-related complex, if they were diagnosed within the last 10 years, decline. So if they were diagnosed 11 years ago, they would be able to get coverage, right? Mutual of Omaha decline, AMAM decline, John Hancock decline, Forrester. So then you probably have to call your upline, business partner, or obviously the helpline. Depends upon their age. But again, we're talking about term right now. You can see all the other conditions as you go down the page. Keep in mind, we're talking about term here. So a lot of what you're going to be dealing with is diabetes, obviously high blood pressure, those kind of things. If you, a good rule of thumb or a pro tip as you're going through this guide is just look at it and read it for what it is. Let me give you an example. Americo, diagnosed within the last 6 months, decline. diagnosed before age 35, decline. Prescribed and using insulin, decline. Taking more than 2 oral medications, obviously for diabetes, decline. So if you had somebody that was 40 years old, okay, and they're taking one medication, let's call it metformin, and they were diagnosed 3 years ago, based off of what Americo just said there, they would still qualify. Anybody disagree with that? And does everybody have a clear understanding what I mean by reading this as just read it for face value? That makes sense to you guys?
Yep.
Perfect. So Mutual of Omaha, and the reason I'm doing diabetes, because you're going to see a lot of this. Mutual of Omaha. So diagnosed before age of 50, they're declining. Any complications, they're declining. So if they were 51 and they were diagnosed and they're not having any complications, and even if they're taking metformin or insulin, Mutual of Omaha is going to take them based off of their perimeter. They're based off of what they're putting out there. But if you go to the section right below that, it says diabetic complications. If they have any complications at all, they're declining them. So here's the point that I'm making with this. A lot of times we're picking up the phone, we're calling our business partner, we're calling the Velocity line, we're calling Todd, we're calling Chris. If we just took a couple seconds and came out here and looked at this and take it for face value, you're going to be able to start to underwrite in the home by yourself very quickly. Okay. And then if one of these 5 carriers doesn't work, then you can start to spin from there. Pretty simple stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to page number 9 on this grid. And this is one of my favorite sections of our website. And this is one of my favorite things on this grid and the final expense grid. So what this does is this breaks down the primary carriers that we use. The height and weight chart. It breaks down the amount of coverage. It breaks down what the plans are, etc. So with Americo, you can go all the way up to $250,000 simplified issue. They just added about a month and a half ago that they'll go up to $450,000 simplified issue on the continuation and the continuation plus protector. Hopefully that didn't confuse anybody. Those are all simplified issue. So the CBO just stands for return of premium, cash back option. That's all it stands for. So between the ages of 20 and 60, they can get 25,000. And I know it says 400K, but look at what the next thing says. Saliva test required from $250,001 up to 400K. So if you say 250 and under, it's going to be simplified issue between the age of 20 and 60. You also have what's called living benefits, right? Living benefits, heart attack, cancer, stroke. So critical is the first thing for, if you will, for living benefits. Heart attack, cancer, stroke, any type of, renal failure, those kind of things, they can take up to 100% of their benefit. So if they have $100,000, they could take $100,000 out. Of course, they would alleviate their benefit, right? Their $100,000 life insurance benefit. That's what they call them, living benefits, right? Chronic. If they can't do 2 of the 4 of what you call activities of daily living, eating, toileting, bathing, etc., they can again take up to 100% of their benefit out if they can't do those things. Of course, it has to be certified by a doctor, etc. And then the last thing, and certainly not least, if they have 12 months or less to live, of course, certified by a physician, they could then take out 100%, up to 100% of their benefit out there. So that's why they call these living benefits, because you have access to them while you're alive. By the way, these are included in the premium. If you guys want to see this, send me a Slack. I'm happy to send this page to you, but Americo obviously provides this information to you as well. All right, let's go back out to the site. Question?
Real quick, man. I bought some final mortgage leads, and that was my question. On the lead, it says, hey, you can get disability pays for mortgage payments. We cannot work due to illness. I also have unemployment as well. Do we have that?
It's a rider.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's all.
Yep. And when you're doing the application, you'll actually see that on it. You can click to add that rider. As a matter of fact, if you look at, see where it says HMS plus CBO?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the 5th check mark there. Includes living benefit rider, critical, chronic, and terminal illness riders. check personal state. See that?
Mhm.
That's it. That's the illness rider. So if they got sick or something like that and couldn't, they can just, you can just click add that option. Of course, it adds to the premium, but we do have that option. Yep.
And what about the unemployment? Do they have, is there a carrier out there that covers unemployment?
That would be, most of the time, that's going to be for, I know Illinois Mutual. I used to sell it. I'm not sure of any other carriers. I used to be deeper into that when I was doing more, business owner stuff. Illinois Mutual is a good carrier for that. Basically, it's just really for key man or business owners where they don't have any type of disability. And if they do get sick and they're out for a long period of time, it'll cover their paycheck to an extent. Okay. I know what you guys have at Aflac and that kind of stuff. You guys offer things like that, but yeah, this doesn't. So, I would tell you sell in the Aflac plan.
Well, yeah, the Aflac plan has to be through a company though. So that's
to an organization. Yeah. Right. We have Mutual of Omaha that offers some of that stuff. As long as you're health licensed, you can sell that. I can see what we see most of the time is people are selling so much life insurance, they just completely forget about those programs. Right. Aetna has stuff as well. I know there's some other carriers out there that want you to be non-captive. I know it's recorded, but Combined Insurance is another company that's getting ready to go strictly 1099. They've been W-2 for years. They're about 1099. So that would be another option for you if you wanted to be able to sell an individual product like that as well.
I'm not worried about it. I just, like I said, I just see it on the mortgage lead on one of the options on why they're filling it out. I was just seeing if there was something through us. But
I wouldn't
even touch on it in the home. I was just seeing if we had.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So HMS Plus, the reason I'm digging into these a little bit, you guys will sell a ton of these. HMS Plus, the 125 and the 100, the only difference between the 100 and the 125 is the 125 offers an additional 25% if they die in an accident. That is the only difference. So if you're trying to get bare bones with Americo, the HMS 100 is the best option. It's going to be a standard benefit. It still includes living benefits, which is great, but they have a $100,000 benefit. They pass away. That's what they're going to get. They got 125. They die in an accident. They're going to get the additional 25%. It doesn't add much premium, by the way, either. So those are the primary ones you're going to sell there. I'm going to flip through the next one because I want to get you guys out of here in the next 10 minutes unless you got questions. Mutual of Omaha, same thing. You can see the setup here. You can see the primary products that you have with them. Term, of course, their UL, their IUL, those kind of things. You can see what they go up to. Also, if you go to FFL-Go, and it'll tell you which programs that we have that we sell with Mutual of Omaha. This just gives you a parameter or something that you can flip through very quickly and see what they have to offer, etc. Here's AmAm, same thing. I think we're up to 6 products, I think, with American Amicable now. If you go out to their site, you can see that. John Hancock, this is actually one of my favorites. It takes forever to get appointed with them, but once you do, they have some pretty slick stuff. They're one of the few that takes credit cards and debit. I personally, unless it's AIG and somebody is they're on Social Security disability and they have what's called a Direct Express card, I stay away from credit cards altogether because credit cards cancel, bank accounts don't. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple things to write down here really quick. Hopefully you'll write these down because I'm telling you this will happen to you and you're going to be glad you did this. All right. Prosperity. If you take Direct Express with Prosperity, you're only going to be paid as earned. I'm telling you guys this because people do it and then they don't know it and then they get paid and then I get a phone call going, why was my commission X? Well, this is what we talk about on the trainings. So again, Prosperity, if they pay with Direct Express, it is only paid as earned.
Honestly, that makes sense.
It does, 100%, because a lot of those things cancel and you're going to be glad you did it.
When I was just talking to Ramon about this and I'm like, man, I would think that FFL would have some type of thing where each policy you send in, you have a option to either take the upfront or take it as earned.
Yeah, once you have so much business on the books, you can reach out to the carrier and say that. I'm probably about another year or 2 from that, just doing everything as I don't need it. You know what I mean? And it just protects you. So here's another thing. Direct Express. Here's the carriers that we offer right now that take Direct Express. So when you're in the home, you're going over the sheet, you're asking them if they're on Social Security disability, those kind of things. They tell you, yes, your brain should automatically either go back to your notes or the carriers that take Direct Express, the obvious one, Prosperity, AIG, Great Western, and Transamerica. I'll repeat those. So you have Prosperity, Great Western, AIG, and Transamerica. Those are the carriers that take Direct Express, the only ones. All right. Transamerica, and John Hancock are the only companies that take credit cards for the initial draft and then reoccurring. They're the only two companies that we have right now that do that. Some people want it for points and all kinds of other stuff, just to let you know that. So if you run into that, hopefully this will pop in your head, or you got some notes someplace to refer back to. Okay. Now I'm going to give you guys these. I post this on Slack. I'll post it out there. I try to do it at least once a week because I think this is important. Aetna will go all the way up to 89. They're the only carrier we have that does that, I believe. And then their grid, you can go all the way down to age 40, which is pretty amazing because they take a lot of people. Aetna's fantastic. So 40 to 55, you can go up to 50K. So if you have to stack applications, or you got somebody that's young that's having conditions, Aetna underwrites, even at age 40, they underwrite like its whole life. That's a huge benefit to somebody down to the age of 40, huge. So from 40 to 55, they can go up to 50K. 56 to 65, the maximum they can go up to is 40. 66 to 75, and I will repeat these guys, is 30K, and 76 to 89 is 25,000. So the reason I'm giving these to you guys, if you're talking to somebody and you know they're a little bit up, you know, a little bit seasoned, if you will, and you know they're 70-something years old and they're looking for $40,000 worth of coverage, you know automatically, especially if you look at the grid and Aetna's the only company that'll take them, you can start to look and automatically tell them, hey, you're 82 years old. I can get you 25,000 with Aetna based off of your health conditions. You're going to know that right off the top. So 40 to 55 is 50K, and these are max. 56, 65, 40K, 66, 75, 30K, 76 to 89 is 25,000. Now, the last pro tip that I'll give you guys is Mutual of Omaha. When you're doing the Mutual of Omaha application, make sure you're using their point of sale application. Unless it forces you to use another one, use the point of sale. The point of sale is their simplified issue application. If you use anything other than that, it's going to go fully underwritten. That's going to be huge if you make that mistake when you're filling out the application. Now, if it forces you to complete another application, then just use that app and go from there, because that's sometimes it's state specific. But most of us are, Bob, I know you're in Texas. We're here in Missouri. So most of the time, the point of sale application, or what you'll see is POS, point of sale, that's the one you're going to want to use. All right. That's probably one of the most important things that we've covered today on our meeting. So you can see Foresters, etc. That's there. Now I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to necessarily cover it. But the final expense grid, I'm going to click on that one. You can see it looks the same. Now we do the company probably does 70% more final expense and probably 30% mortgage protection. I love mortgage protection. It's easier. Usually you don't have as many complications, that kind of stuff. And those leads that you bought, those $2.50 leads, those things are the bomb, by the way, Jeremy. So you can see there's more carriers across the top. The underwriting is a little bit different on this stuff as opposed to what you would be looking at for term, because they know a lot of times these people have more health conditions. So some of the things that might be declined on a term, you'll either be able to get guaranteed issue or modified or whatever the case is here. Okay. Same thing. You're going to read this grid just like you would the other one. So let's go down to diabetes just to kind of stay on the same vein here. So if we go diabetes, you can see before, I think America had all these things listed, age 35, are they taking insulin? When did it start? This one simply says allowed, see diabetic complication. If they were within 2 years, they were diagnosed, all they can get is guaranteed issue. So if it's 3 years or more and they're not having any complications, they can get the standard Eagle Premier program. It's pretty simple. If you go to Mutual of Omaha is going to say diagnosed and treated prior to age 50, graded. And then you can see underneath if they've had insulin shock, diabetic coma at any time, it's declined. Retinopathy, neuropathy, neuropathy, it's graded. It's automatically going to tell you. So again, you have me to call, you have the in-home helpline, you've got Todd, you've got Chris, but if you use this grid, you're going to help yourself. And I'm telling you, you guys will get to the point where somebody will tell you their medical conditions and your brain will already start shifting to which carrier will take them. If they say they're on, if they have direct Direct Express, when you're going over the inventory sheet, you're automatically going to know there's only one of those 4 carriers. And then you just start breaking down what health conditions they have. So, I mean, a lot of times if it's pretty standard, I can get in and out of a house. I wrote 3 applications, excuse me. I wrote 3 applications, 3 full applications the other day in the dark, by the way, because they didn't have a light in their living room. I wrote 3 applications in about probably 70, 75 minutes, completed, paid, everything. And it's because I understand this grid, and they didn't have a whole lot of medical conditions. The mom did, but the rest of them didn't. I'm going to go down to page 9 again. I love how these things are congruent. Page 9 again. So it looks just like the term grid. Same thing here. So Mutual of Omaha is going to tell you between the ages of 40 to 45, they can get 2 all the way up to 40K. 45 to 80, graded. It's going to tell you how much coverage they can get. 2,000 to 20K. You can see that person, if they're 4'8", they have to weigh at least 74 pounds. Max level is 204. If they're over 2, so they're 205 pounds. For the final expense, you're going to have to go with their graded plan. It's going to tell you that right here on the grid. Here's the American Eagle Premier, same thing, 50 to 85, non-smoker. If they're a smoker, you can go 50 to 80. They're guaranteed issue. If they're over the age of 50, guys, and they're guaranteed issue, just go AIG or Great Western. Americo's rates are through the roof. I'll save you some time. And they can only go up to 10K. All right. Prosperity. This is what I was talking about earlier. You can see right here, accepts Direct Express cards for payment purposes. So I try to stay away from it. But if you're dealing with somebody that needs it, cool thing about Prosperity is they will go up to 35,000. Sorry, guys. They will go up to 35,000 as well. And in all states, which is kind of cool. Let me go back here. I'm sorry, this thing's flipping around all over the place on me. To go from there, that's Prosperity. Aetna, absolutely love Aetna. Very simple application. 40 to 80, 89 years old, as we mentioned before. As you're going through the Aetna application, we have a training on this too, by the way, on YouTube. As you're going through the application and answering the questions, it'll tell you whether they're preferred, standard, or modified. It's pretty cool. So you don't even have to be, the application's really smart. It does the work for you. American Amicable, Horse Foresters, Transamerica, etc. So just wanted to show you guys where this information is at. All right. The last thing I want to show you guys, if you don't have any questions. So we've covered, you guys have been in CRM. You guys didn't have any questions there. We've talked about Slack. We've covered the website. We've covered the grids. We've talked about work spots already. The last thing I'm going to show you guys, unless you have any additional questions, is compensation. And the reason I want to cover this is just to make sure you guys have a full understanding here, okay? A lot of people are still kind of confused by this, which is okay. So let's say you go out and you help someone, and it's a Americo CBO 100. And let's say their monthly premium is $200 a month. We're going to take the $200 a month and we're going to multiply it by 12 months, okay? That's $2,400. $2,400 annualized premium. Let's say your compensation level is 110. They're going to take the 2,500 by 110%. That makes your commission $2,640. Keep in mind that Americo and most of our other companies, except for AIG and Great Western, they all pay 75% advance, which equals 9 months. So they're going to take that $2,640 times 75%, which is 9 months of the year. And that's where they get your commission. Americo is going to pay out within 24 to 48 hours, $1,960. That's what you're going to be paid out. But remember, your full commission was $2,640. Before I move forward, does anybody have any questions? Perfect. $2,640 is your full comp. $1,980 was what they just paid you. There's $660 left over. In month 10, they're going to give you $220. In month 11, $220. Month 12, $220, which equals the first 9 months that you got, and then month 10, 11, and 12, and then your renewal starts. Okay, if you're at 110%, let me take you out here and show you guys this really quickly. If you're at 110%, so go all the way over to the right, second light, kind of a lightish blue color, 110. They're going to pay you 5.5% of that premium for years 2 through 5. Years 6 through 10, they're going to pay you 2.5% for your renewal. Renewals are only paid for whole life plans. Okay. I know we're talking about a miracle term, but I just wanted you guys to understand that you're only going to get paid the renewal. You'll get paid your residual month 10, 11, and 12, but you're only going to get paid renewal for whole life policy. Also, the last thing I want to point out here about comp, if you guys don't have any more questions, if you're at 110% level and you got a bunch of policies that you sold here, and then you go to 115, either by team or you moved up based off of your own personal production, you will get paid the renewal based off of what it was when you wrote it. So if your renewal is at 110, and as a bunch of the business that you wrote there starts to renew, that's what you'll be paid. What you got when you hit 115, everything that you've sold in that 115 tier, that's what you'll be paid. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. The last thing that I want to point out, last two things, I apologize, that I want to point out is for you to move up from a comp standpoint. Okay. If you started at 90%, which you guys did not, you start at 90%. When you sell 5,000 2 months in a row, you go from 90 to 95. That's issue paid 5,000 2 months in a row. The 2 months after that, let's say you issue pay 10,000 2 months in a row, you go from 95 to 100. So on the personal production side, on the left-hand side of this grid, when you do it 2 months in a row, you move up. No one can stop you from doing that. So if let's say I'm at 110 and you guys are I'm at 115, you're at 110, and I'm sitting on my butt just collecting residuals and renewals, you can pass me up. I would get production credit, but I would no longer get an override, which I absolutely love that. So let's go back down to the bottom of the grid again, 90%. Let's say you're somebody that's deciding to build an organization. 90%. You sell 5,000 2 months in a row, you move to 95. You move to 95 and you go, you know what? I want to start building an organization. You recruit 5, 6 people here. They come on, they start writing. And that next month, you and your team sell 25,000. That next month, you move from 95 to 100%. Let's say a couple of those people recruit people and you recruit a couple more as well. You're at 100% comp. The next month, you guys do $76,000. You would then move from 100% comp to 105. So and to wrap this up, on the left side, you have to do it 2 months in a row. On the right-hand side, you only have to do it once. Once you obtain a commission level, you never go backwards, ever. And there are no recruiting requirements at all. Now, if you're an individual and you hit 300K a month, your first month, you hit 300,000 issue pay a month, you can go to that 135%. I did confirm that. And trust me, we have people here that have an opportunity to do that because there's some, we just had somebody last week, I think last week or week before, do 95,000 in a week, which is insane. But people are starting to do that on a pretty common basis now. You guys have any questions? I know I talk fast, but you guys have any questions on how this works? 2 months for regular producer, 1 month for builder, and you can, even as an individual, get all the way up to 145, 100%. Bonuses, 30,000 issue pay in a month, $500 bonus, 40K, 750. These are non-charge backable bonuses, all the way up to 150,000 issue pay is $6,000 bonus. I've already covered this. This is one of the things I wanted to make sure I covered, especially for you, Jeremy, with you building a team. They just switched this, and I can't tell you how incredible this is. What a lot of companies do is, you guys will see here on the bonus premium or percentage, what a lot of companies do, the more premium you write, the bonus number is actually smaller. Sean said, the more you write, I'm going to pay you. So you imagine 7% of $4 million. And we have agencies that are doing that every month. I mean, it's pretty life-changing. But here's the biggest thing that I wanted to point out before I let you guys go. Before, America was 100%. Aetna wasn't even on here. Mutual of Omaha was 75. John Hancock was 50. AMM was 50. AIG wasn't even on here, etc. So now we get 100% credit for all the primary carriers that we write. Here's why that's important. If you wrote 100,000 with Americo, you would get 100,000 credit for that, for your bonus. But prior to this, if you wrote 50,000 with Aetna, you didn't get any credit for that because it wasn't a part of the bonus premium. So let's say you do 200,000 this month and 100,000 is with Aetna, or excuse me, Americo, 50,000 is with Aetna, and 25,000 of it is with Mutual of Omaha. You're going to get 100% credit for that. The minimum bonus that you're going to be paid, minimum bonus is $2,500. That's $30,000 a year for your team hitting $150,000 a month. $30,000 a year in non-charge backable money. So the money here is just silly, especially if you're starting to build, and we're not forcing anybody to. We just want to make sure that you guys understand this, new teammates here, that you understand what this is. Here was the old grid. This is exactly what I was talking about.
Corey, this is Bob. I've got to get off.
Yeah.
I've got another
Okay.
Zoom call I've got to make.
Go ahead, Bob. Hop off, man. Appreciate you being on. All right. Well, that's all I had anyway. So any more questions? Either of you gentlemen? Ramon?
Hey, Corey.
Hey, what's up, bud?
I know it's a little off topic, but is there a contact for John Hancock that can help? Like Alex has been waiting like 3 or 4 months, and he keeps calling him every week, and now he has a potential client. So I'm wondering if there's somebody in John Hancock specifically we can call.
It sucks. I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you a phone number. And no, it's not off topic. It's all good. Everything here is open. So our rep for John Hancock is Jeff Don. Let me give you Jeff's phone number.
Okay.
857-343-7023. 857-343-7023. Just let him know you're with Genesis. And it's, he's trying to get set up, and he has somebody to write. He should be able to go in. He's our contact. He should be able to go in and be able to help.
Okay. And that was Jeff. What was his last name?
DAHN. Jeff Don.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Again, we do this every week. We switch from Saturday to Wednesday. You guys have new agents that need the help. That's what this is for. Of course, this is recorded. We'll get it out there on YouTube. But yeah, so appreciate you guys being on. If you have anything else, let me know. Happy to help.
Hey, can you send me all of those slides you just went over? Because I'm gonna start doing the recruiting myself now.
Okay.
Like I said, I yesterday and this morning both canceled because of COVID for enrollments.